Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay, we'll be continuing from chapter 2, contents of the Gita summarized. Slok 2.71. Okay. Vihaya kamaya sarvan umam charati nisprasa nirmamo nirankara sa santim adhigacchati vihaya kamaya sarvam umam charati nisparsh nirmamo nirankara sa santim adhigacchati vihaya kamaya sarvam umam charati nisparshata nirmamo nirankara sa santim adhigacchati. Vihaya kamaya sarvam umam charati nisprasa nirmamo nirankara sa santim adhigacchati. Vihaya kamaya sarvam umam charati nispraha nirmamo nirahankara sa shantim adhigacchati. Vihaya kamaya sarvam umam charati nispraha nirmamo nirahankara sa santim adhigacchati. Vihaya kamaya sarvam umam charati nispraha nirmamo nirahankara sa santim adhigacchati. Vihaya kamaya sarvam umam charati nispraha nirmamo nirahankara sa santim adhigacchati. Vihaya kamaya sarvam umam charati nisprasa nirmamo nirahankara sa santim adhigacchati. Vihaya kamaya sarvam nirmamo nirahankara sa santim adhigacchati. Umam charati nisprasa nirmamo nirahankara vihaya kamaya sarvam umam charati nispraha Nirmamo Nirankara Shashantim Adhikachati Vihaya Kamanya Sarvam Umam Sharati Isvara Nirmamo Nirankara. Okay, we'll do the word for word translation. Vihaya, giving up. Kama, material desires for sense gratification. Ya, who, Sarvan, all. Puma, a person. Charati, lives. Nispara, desireless. Nirmama, without a sense of proprietorship. Nirankara, without false ego. Sa, he, Shantim, perfect peace. Adhikachati, attains. Sound is proper? Sound is little. Yeah. Okay. A person who has given up all desires for sense gratification, who lives free from desires, who has given up all sense of proprietorship and is devoid of false ego, he alone can attain real peace. Please repeat after me. A person who has given up all desires for sense gratification, who lives free from desires, who has given up all sense of proprietorship and is devoid of false ego, he alone can attain real peace. Okay, translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Purport. To become desireless means not to desire anything for sense gratification. In other words, desire for becoming Krishna consciousness is actually desirelessness. To understand one's actual position as the eternal servitor of Krishna without falsely claiming this material body to be oneself, and without falsely claiming proprietorship over anything in the world, is the perfect stage of Krishna consciousness. One who is situated in this perfect stage knows that because Krishna is the proprietor of everything, everything must be used for the satisfaction of Krishna. Arjuna did not want to fight for his own sense satisfaction, but when he became fully Krishna conscious, he fought because Krishna wanted him to fight. For himself, there was no desire to fight. But for Krishna, the same Arjuna fought to his best ability. Real desirelessness is desire for the satisfaction of Krishna, not an artificial attempt to abolish desires. The living entity cannot be desireless or senseless, but he does have to change the quality of the desires. A materially desireless person certainly knows that everything belongs to Krishna. Isha Vasyam Idam Sarvam. And therefore, he does not falsely claim proprietorship over anything. This transcendental knowledge is based on self-realization, namely, knowing perfectly well that every living entity is an eternal part and parcel of Krishna in spiritual identity. And that the eternal position of the living entity is therefore never on the level of Krishna or greater than him. This understanding of Krishna consciousness is the basic principle of real peace. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnana Jnana Salakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalparupyasya Kripa Sindhabhyo Evacha Patitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, the entire Bhagavad Gita is basically a dialogue between Lord Krishna and Arjuna. Arjuna asked 16 pertinent questions, and in reply he received timeless wisdom. The very first question which he asked was in Slok 2.54. That was the first question which he has asked. Arjuna said, "O Krishna, what are the symptoms of one whose consciousness is thus merged in transcendence? How does he speak and what is his language? How does he sit and how does he walk?" In the next 16 verses, Lord Krishna mentioned various symptoms by which a Krishna conscious person can be recognized as such. Just like there are symptoms for various people. A rich man has his own symptoms. A sick man has his own symptoms. A Krishna conscious person has symptoms which are recognizable. To summarize the key traits such a person has are, number one, detachment. Detachment from what? From sensory objects and also to the results of the actions carried out. Number two, equanimity. That is to treat all situations with the same steady mind and so have inner calm. Number three, sense control. To replace material desires with spiritual desires, and so the intellect is purified and fixed onto the divine. So these are the symptoms which Krishna has highlighted in the 16 slokas following the first when he asked that question. So this is basically which leads us to today's sloka. But before that, let me go back and have a little recap, because various slokas are important to understand what today's sloka is all about. Lord Krishna has created 8.4 million species. I think everyone is aware of that. But not all species have equal number of senses. Some of the species have only one sense, some have two, some have three, some have four. But humans are so endowed that they have all five senses: sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch. Human life has been endowed with full capabilities to question the purpose of life and also to understand Vedic injunctions. Hence, human life is meant for a life of responsibility. Senses are a double-edged sword, and if discrimination is not used, it can lead to downfall. As explained in Bhagavad Gita 262 and 263, while contemplating the objects of the senses, a person develops attachment for them. When he sees something, he develops some sort of attachment. From attachment, lust develops. Lust is basically extreme desire. He really wants to now have that thing. From lust, anger arises. When the lust does not be fulfilled, then a situation comes that he gets angry about it, if unfulfilled. From anger, complete delusion arises. The mind becomes unsteady. From delusion, bewilderment of memory takes place. When memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost. When intelligence is lost, one falls down again in the material pool. So the whole sequence has been given, so beautifully given, that this is what happens if you pursue the senses for yourself. Then in Bhagavad Gita 2:59 it says, though the embodied soul may be restricted from its enjoyment, the taste for sense objects remains. You may artificially try and suppress the senses, that you will try not fall into that, but it does not. The taste still remains. You may try to not do it, but it still you would like to do it. So unless one is transcendently situated, it is not possible to cease from sense enjoyment. The process is to replace it with a higher taste over inferior taste. So what we are trying to go through is trying to change our way of thinking. Then in Bhagavad Gita 260 it says, the senses are so strong and impetuous, and it can carry away the mind even of a man of discrimination. It just shows that we have to be extremely, extremely careful. We are not capable of taking it very lightly. You have to be very, very strong. And then in 267 it says, as the strong wind sweeps away a boat on the water, even one of the roaming senses on which the mind focuses can carry away a man's intelligence. So since we are having 5 senses, and you have to be 5 times more careful, because at least if one of them drifts you away, you are finished, right? You know, there are a lot of times that people say, okay, I don't drink, but I smoke. But the smoking will lead to drinking afterwards. So one of the senses will attract the others. So similarly, if you give way to one sense, the others will take over. So you cannot be very complacent. And in 269, what is night for all beings is the time for awakening for the self-control. And the time for all beings is night for introspective sage. Both classes of people are extremely intelligent, but they are pursuing different goals. One is pursuing all material activities, and they are fully engrossed, very intelligent, they are doing it. Then the other class, or the sages, which will follow the other path. But out of the two, the path for the materialistic is called a night path. That is that they will not see the light of the day. Basically, they'll not be enlightened. Both classes of people are very intelligent. One class is intelligent material activities for sense gratification, and the other class is awake to the cultivation of self-realization. Everyone is seeking happiness. We have gone through this before. There is no one who doesn't want happiness. Everyone is seeking happiness, but the materialist is seeking in the wrong place. That is why it is night for such beings. So today's slok offers a peace formula. We have understood what it leads. We have to be very careful with our senses and not let them drift away, roam away. Then in Bhagavad Gita 2.70 it says, a person who is not disturbed by the incessant flow of desires, they enter like rivers into the ocean, which is ever being filled but is always still, can alone achieve peace, and not the man who strives to satisfy such desires. For a man satisfied in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, he can remain steady, like the ocean, and therefore enjoy full peace. Right? There is the ocean, the example which has been given, the ocean is there, so many rivers are coming, basically, so many senses are attacking the lake, but it does not get disturbed because it is full in itself. For a man satisfied in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, he can remain steady, like the ocean, and therefore enjoy full peace. If you manage to satisfy one desire, another one is sure to arise. Material desires never give permanent happiness and are always lacking. So, what this slok says is that in order to have the real peace formula is to have three conditions which should be fulfilled. Condition number one is to become desireless. It means not to desire anything for own sense gratification, but desiring for the satisfaction of Krishna is also considered desireless. It's like the twist of the word, not twist of the word, but the words which accompany when a person talks about karma. When he talks about karma and then he talks about akarma. Akarma doesn't mean not doing work. It means you are working, but you are not working for yourself. You are working for the satisfaction of Krishna. So similarly, desiring something for yourself will drag you down. Desiring something for the satisfaction of the Krishna is desireless. The living entity cannot be desireless or senseless, but it does have to change the quality of desires. Number two is to give up all sense of proprietorship. One who is situated in this perfect stage of Krishna is the proprietor of everything. Everything must be used for the satisfaction of Krishna. There is a slok which is mentioned, the reference to Isvasyam idam sarvam means everything animate or inanimate that is within existence is under the control and ownership of the Lord. Everything what you see is the proprietor of the Lord. One should only accept what is necessary and within his quota and not otherwise, knowing full well to whom it belongs. Material existence is defined as being of thinking in terms of I and mine, which gives rise to the false notion that we are the masters and the independent enjoyers of the world and its resources. Krishna has already confirmed that he is the supreme proprietor of the world and as stated in Bhagavad Gita 7.4 and 7.5. and that he is the supreme enjoyer in Bhagavad Gita 5.29. So we are not the ultimate enjoyers. The enjoyer is Krishna. So we should be working for him. Number 3 is to become devoid of false ego. Knowing perfectly well that every living entity is an eternal part and parcel of Krishna in spiritual identity, and that eternal position of the living entity is therefore never to be on the level of Krishna or greater than him. So, there are 3 points which I mentioned. Anyone can tell me what they were? The 3 peace formulas. What was the first one? To become desireless. Number 2, to give up all sense of proprietorship. And the last one, to be devoid of false ego. With false ego, it causes a lot of problems. So, all these 3 factors, if they are followed, they will give you a steady mind which will lead to peace. It is like a glass of water. You put a little bit of dust in it and you keep on stirring it around, stirring it around. The dust will never settle and you'll never be able to see clearly. But if you don't let the senses disturb the stirring, if the senses remain peaceful, you'll be able to see the clarity. You will achieve your peace, and that is what this sloka is all about. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Okay. 1 minute. No, okay, let me see. Okay. Granth Raj Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. I guess there are any questions?